Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through. You've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your lane talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your Lane Talk Show with Coach Trish, Hanna.
Hello, good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to another great episode with Coach Trish, Hanna. Let's see, we having some streaming things here. Let's get this out the way, once and for all. All right, your Lane Talk Show here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM dial in Nassau, Bahamas. I am your coach, Trish, Hanna, and this is your Lane Talk Show, where we empower, encourage, and educate women and men of all ages. I had a colleague that said to me, this is the people show. And you are absolutely correct. This is the people show. I know prior to today, actually, we were saying this is a women's talk show and we cater to our men. But because there's so many different topics that can appeal to both sexes or gender, we say men and women, it's the people show. All right, that's we can keep it like that. All right, last week's episode 179, was What Growing in Your Backyard with Anchelle Shelley Dawkins, and she is a Bahamian wellness advocate and the founder of Back to the Bush, a company dedicated to preserving and promoting the rich tradition of Bahamian bush medicine. Now, when she was on the show last week, we spoke about so many different things. We spoke about ways that even in her situation, that she was healed from cancer because of the various bush medicines that she took. Certain bushes such as aloes, fever grass, cerasee. We spoke about the soursop leaf, pear leaf. We discussed our cultural ailments like, the diabetes, the cancer, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fibroids. Yes, we even discussed perimenopause. We also discussed erectile dysfunction. And in each of those situations, she was able to literally pinpoint each bush medicine or bush tea that will help enhance or increase the betterment of our bodies because of it. So, of course, you want to tune into that particular show. It's episode 179. What Growing in Your Backyard, and that's on Your Lane with Coach Trish, Hanna on YouTube. And when you are there, we ask that you please like and subscribe. Now, today we're having a conversation that many families may eventually find themselves having because of the statistics. And of course, we have someone who could tell us a little bit more about the statistics here. But often we don't know, as Bahamians, how to navigate, right? What happens when someone we love begins to forget? What happens when a mother who once took care of us, we are now being the ones to take care of them, and looking for proper care also, because sometimes we can't do it, but we have to go to work. So we're looking for the proper care to help our mother, our father, our grandparents, etc., as they experience the changes in their memory, their behavior, or ability to do so easily. Today's topic is the caregiver's heart, loving someone through Alzheimer's and dementia. And this conversation is not just about the person diagnosed, Okay, it's also about the caregiver. We want to think about them. We want to consider them. The person who has to learn how to communicate differently, provide personal care, keep the home safe, manage medications and appointments, make difficult situations become easier or better, making even difficult decisions in times when you try to decide if I should, I love my mom this much that I have to do this, I have to leave. I love my dad this much that I have to stay, whatever the situation or circumstances may be. And sometimes watch someone they love slowly change right before their eyes. We're going to talk about recognizing the signs, understanding the disease, caring for our loved ones with dignity, creating a safe environment, choosing the right caregiver, and knowing what qualifications and qualities to look for when we need additional help. And just as importantly, we're going to talk about the caregiver's heart, because caregivers, as you know, need care too. Right, there are lots of ways that we can be heard today. You can tune into Guardian 96.9 FM radio dial, channel 969 on cable. We're also on BTC Flow channel 612, the Guardian radio app for Android or Apple. We're on the website as well, www.guardiantalkradio.com. And if you want to join in book Your Lane Life Coaching, or on YouTube, Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna live, you get to see my beautiful guests today. Like, they are just so excited to share what it is that they know. And of course, I can't wait to introduce them. So Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna, episode 180, The Caregiver's Heart, Loving Someone Through Alzheimer's and Dementia. It's brought to you by John Shoe Store and Accessories, Tropical Gyros, Your Lane Life Coaching, The Children's Dream Journal, available at All Seasons Book and Gift Center in Palmdale or on Amazon. All Thompson Trading Brands, Lysol, Del Monte, and Airwick, Commonwealth Bank, and 242 Media Connect. Now listen, the voices are here, the stories are here, the talent is here. Introducing 242 Media Connect, your go-to space to connect media and messages across the Bahamas. Whether you need a guest or you are the guest, this platform is for you. Don't miss out. Go to Facebook, search 242 Media Connect, and get connected today. Let's elevate the conversation and let's connect. All right. So my question for the audience today, for those who are tuning in is, have you ever cared for a loved one experiencing memory loss, dementia, or Alzheimer's? What was for you? I'm going to put this on the banner for those who are tuning in via Facebook. The question once again, have you ever cared for a loved one experiencing memory loss, dementia, or Alzheimer's? What was the hardest part of the journey for you? Okay. And the numbers to call are 323-6232, 325-4316, or 325-4259. You can also give us a text. The text number is 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. And of course, those who are tuning via social media, you can answer here as well. But I'm going to introduce our speakers, our guests, real quick, and then right after that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll start in our conversations, all right? So joining us today is Mrs. Wendi Poitier-Albury, an attorney by profession with a passion for service and advocacy. Wendi became involved in advocacy for the elderly and those affected by dementia and Alzheimer's after seeing the impact of the disease on her in-laws. Her passion for awareness grew even further when she served as chair of the Alzheimer's Awareness Committee in her local sorority chapter, where she successfully led island-wide Alzheimer awareness activities. Today, Wendi serves the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association, a volunteer organization dedicated to providing support, assistance, advocacy, and education to care partners and families living with dementia and Alzheimer's, while working to stigma surrounding the disease. Wendi is currently employed at the University of the Bahamas and is the proud mother of 3 girls and 1 fur baby, Buster. Hi, Buster. Mrs. Albury, welcome. I'm sure he is. Welcome to Your Lane. We are so happy to have you with us.
And I thank you so much for inviting us to be here today.
Thank you. And also joining us is Mrs. Deirdre Clarke-Maycock, a dedicated volunteer with the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association for more than 5 years. Deirdre brings a deeply personal perspective to today's conversation, having served as the primary caregiver for her late mother, Laureen Clarke, while also caring for her father, Charles Clarke, and supporting her brother, Michael, who has been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Professionally, Deirdre currently serves as Registrar of Records at the Registrar of Records Department, a position she has held since February 2025. She's also a member of the Bahamas Bar Association. Deirdre, welcome to Your Lane Talk Show.
Thank
We're
you
so
for
grateful
this
to
invite.
have you.
And I'm happy to be here and also to talk about my experience.
Yes,
So,
yes.
And also to promote the initiatives of the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. This has been on my heart for a while. So, of course, we're going to take a quick break there, our producer, and then when we come back, we go straight into those questions, okay? You're tuning in to Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Your Lane Talk Show with Coach Trish Hanna. Today's topic, once more, is, of course, we're talking about taking care of our the caregiver's heart, loving someone through Alzheimer's and dementia. And then, of course, we have our guest, Mrs. Wendi Albury, as well as Mrs. Deirdre Maycock on board. And, of course, we are excited to hear what they have to say regarding this particular topic. This topic is dear to my heart as well. I do have family members who suffered from this. I had a grand-aunt. In fact, I had 3 grand-aunts who suffered from this. And I also had a grandmother, my dad's mom, who suffered from this. And I know we're going to get into it, but one of the things that when I was younger bothered me, and I use the term bother because it was scary, is one time when my dad was talking to my mom and he said, Mint ran away. We couldn't find her, and I was like, what in the world is going on? And it's because, of course, she unlocked all the hinges, went down the street, talking about she going to work.
There you go.
Okay, and she was like 80 something, going on 90. Say she going to work. You know, they thank God there was, I think she's a neighbor or someone that found her. But it's stuff like that that's been pressing on my
scary.
heart.
Yeah.
It's going to create awareness for situations like this. And then I also shared, as earlier, speaking to the ladies, is that I do have a group on Facebook called Bahamas Housekeepers and Caregivers, where you have people who exchange, you know, persons who are looking for caregivers, persons who are caregivers, they connect. And so, of course, having the show, we'd want to know how to connect with these people, what to look for, what are some signs, and how to assist them. So before we get into all of that, my very first question, Mrs. Aubrey, is because as a president of the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association, you would know what is it that made you realize, first of all, that there was such a strong need for greater awareness here in the Bahamas for Alzheimer's?
Oh, like as you said earlier in your introduction, even though, you're kind of aware of it, but because I was more closely connected to it because of my in-laws, who have both since passed, that is how, when you're living with something every day. And then, of course, you come to realize that you're not the only one, because other people are telling you, oh, that, or, my granddaddy, we just had to, because like you mentioned, somebody wondering, my granddaddy just gone walk off and we couldn't find him, those types of things. So almost every day, you were coming into contact. I was coming into contact with other persons who were also experiencing the same types of things that I was dealing with. And as a result of that, like I said, with the organization, with the sorority that I was in, we had one of our programs a couple of years ago that looked at Alzheimer's and dementia. And as a result of that, I came into contact with more people. And, it was just a loose group of persons who were experiencing some of these same things. And we said, hey, you know what, we really need to form an association. We need to start formalizing this, because we know that there are other people who are out there who are also experiencing these same things. And then also to let people know that the stigma that is associated with it, that you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to hide the person in the back room. You don't need to lock them down. Persons with Alzheimer's and dementia, they can still be a normal part of society.
Yeah.
They can still contribute to society. They can still be a viable person within your family. And so again, to bring more awareness and to advocate for a person. So that was really, one of the things, because other people out here are experiencing these same types of things, and, they probably don't know what to do. And once you have that support, and you have persons who are also experiencing the same things that you are, you're better able to handle things. You're better able to deal with things.
Thank you.
And so that was one of the main impetuses with us getting this organization together.
And it's very much needed. And let's go from the basics. As Bahamians, you always say, dementia is dementia. Alzheimer is dementia, or dementia is Alzheimer. And so I want you to explain what is the difference. And then, I guess we can work from there. But what is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Okay, but if you look at an umbrella, raining now, so hey, example, dementia is considered as the umbrella term for what we call a decline in memory and thinking skills, and it's severe enough that it will disrupt your daily life. So when you have or situations where you're not able to function as you normally would have, that is what we call dementia. It's a decline in brain activity. Alzheimer's, because there are many types of dementia. I think most recently persons may be aware of the actor Bruce Willis, who has Lewy body dementia.
Yeah.
Right. And so there are different types of dementia, and Alzheimer's is one of those types of dementia, and it accounts for about 60 to 80% of all dementias that occur. And one of the things too that researchers found out, that people can have more than one type of dementia. So that you could have, Alzheimer's, and you could also have Lewy body. And then, of course, persons who would have had strokes, they would have had, because what it is, it's constriction in the brain vessels. Now, of course, I'm not a PhD, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, so this is just from my reading and my research. But of course, if persons can get the more technical terms from a medical physician. But it really is a degenerative progression in the brain and reduces the functions of the brain enough that it can interfere with your daily life.
So, as we're talking about this as well, in most cases, we realize that persons who have dementia or Alzheimer's are usually in, the elderly. But how, I guess, at what age or how early can someone experience Alzheimer or dementia?
Well, of course, one of the things we have found out too is that dementia is not a normal part of aging. So it doesn't necessarily mean that as you get older, hey,
Right.
this is going to happen. Because we have instances where persons who are young as 40 who have presented with Alzheimer's
Here
or dementia.
in the Bahamas?
In the Bahamas, yes.
Jesus.
And in other parts of the world, they call the early onset or young onset dementia. And so it's not necessarily as you get older, but of course we know with aging, there is the more likelihood
an increase.
of it happening. And so, it can happen at any age. Some of the things that persons need to be aware of when we talk about the warning signs for dementia, if persons have difficulty with familiar tasks. For instance, you have instances where a person, they may have paid their electricity bill, their utility bill, and now all of a sudden the light turn off or water turn. Why? Because they haven't paid their bills. And so difficulty with performing familiar tasks. If you're disoriented, because that was one of the things what we found with my father-in-law, disoriented to time and to place where he was. He got disoriented, he got lost. Unfortunately, somebody was able to find him, get his phone and call us. But he had gotten disoriented where he was driving. He didn't
Wow.
know. And we found incidents where they say, oh, this person is driving on the wrong side of the road. And one of the things they realized is because when we had the roadworks and the change in roadworks, where you used to go, for instance, person was driving on Shirley Street, and you would have usually before you would have been able to drive you would go north, from west and going east. And now when they changed the direction, it's now only going east to west. And so you had an instance where somebody who was driving along, they didn't realize the disorientation because they remembered it being as one way. And of course,
Let me pause you for 1 second. This has been a caller who's been holding for a while.
Okay.
Let me just get this caller. Caller, you're on live. Good afternoon.
Coach Hanna, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm well, thanks.
And to your guest host there, one of the ladies said something earlier. I didn't know it. It's a funny thing. All them songs just alike. One of those said something about hiding the loved one.
Okay.
Say putting them away in the back room and all of that.
Right.
I've never had the privilege or the opportunity to take care of somebody with Alzheimer's. What happened to me is I was dating somebody who ended up with Alzheimer's. And when we first started dating, this was like a 4-year relationship. And her mommy is quite normal when I started going around to the house. And then I started noticing little things. I told her about it. And she really was in denial. I said, man, you need to talk to your mommy and see what's going on. Then her mommy started calling me her boyfriend.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Her mommy the mommy saying I was her boyfriend. And so I just started going along with the program, which I regretted later down. And I just started playing along with her, yeah, like that, And you was my boyfriend, yeah, like that. And she just started, the girl said she used to cry in the night when I don't come there.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
You know, so it started. Then after a while, I got to go right now. After a while, about 3.5 years in, they end up putting a big dead latch on the top of the door. They heard a sister and he had this thing rattling one morning, must be around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Their mommy completely dressed for church.
Ready to go.
Dressed straight up. And she was going to church.
Yeah.
So these are some of the
Those
things.
are some of the
that,
signs.
that
And, you know,
families have to
but
be aware
she already
of.
had it. But and then, you know, the girl turned around and, like, she tried to say, I put that on her mother.
Oh, boy.
I said, but if you was noticing your mom, you going to see things happening.
And this is why it's
you
so
know, I said, man,
important.
come on,
It's why
I
it's
can
so
put that on
important
your
for us to educate our Bahamian people and to let them know what are some of these warning signs, some of these things.
signs.
And it's not that somebody trying to fix your family. You know, get rid of that stigma that is associated with it. Ain't nobody trying to fix you. It is a part of life that we have to deal with. It is unfortunate, yes, but there are things that can be done, especially if persons are diagnosed early. And this is one of the things we're trying to push: early diagnosis, that they go and get their screenings done, and that people know what it is that is happening with their family members. And it's nothing to be afraid of, because I know that there is that fear that is there.
So
That is that
let's
stigma
go
that
back
is there.
to
But
what-
you know, we have to be cognizant, and we have to educate our family members. We have to educate our Bahamian people about what dementia and what Alzheimer's is all about.
Let's go back to what you said, that some of the early signs are. We talk about the fact that, you know, the early onset issues are difficulty for doing familiar tasks. And, you're feeling disoriented. What are some others?
Now, you know, people always say, okay, yeah, well, misplace your keys or you place your glasses and stuff like that. And one of the things that we always say is, yes, okay, yeah, you may have misplaced your key, because people always forget things.
Yeah,
They-
sometimes your glasses on your
Yes.
head. Uh-huh.
The difference is that you would misplace your key, but you remember you had a key. Somebody who has dementia, they don't even remember they have a key.
Okay.
You see,
Okay.
they don't even know that there is a key, or they don't even know that they have glasses. So that is one of the things that kind of distinguishes it, because at least you know, hey, I know I have a key somewhere here, but where I put that key now, I don't know, you know. And then you have other things, of course, where you have the poor judgment. Different persons are withdrawal from social activities. They don't want to go out. They don't want to be involved with anything. And again, you know, mood changes in behavior. These are the things that family members have to be aware of. And when you see these things happening, then of course you take your loved one to see their physician so that they can get their screenings. Because remember now that there are certain drugs and things that persons now can use where you can, while we don't have a cure for Alzheimer's, but there are medications and things that are available that can help reduce the progress and to ensure that, you know, if we increase our brain activity, we increase going out, becoming involved, and that's another thing. That's why we say,
So can
don't
we
lock your
talk
family
about-
member away.
Right.
You
So
know,
can we
you
talk
take
about
them
some
out.
things that we can do to reduce that? I know my show last week we had Shelley that came on, and she said drinking Sweet Margaret helps reduce, you know, that helps you with your memory loss. Do you can you
Well, I wouldn't.
share any other-
I'm not. Again, I said I'm not a physician, so I can't say about, you know, the. I know there are certain medications and stuff. Now, one of the things that we look at when we're talking about the risk factors that are associated with dementia, we have here in the Bahamas already those comorbidities. We already have those things, diabetes, hypertension, you know,
and cholesterol.
cholesterol.
Yeah.
Those factors already are high indicators of risk factors for dementia. So, of course, we are going to be in that high risk factor area right away. Okay? So, excessive alcohol, smoking, again, watching your health, making sure you keeping physically active, making sure checking with your diabetes and with your hypertension, obesity, all of those types of things. Keeping physically active is one of the main things that they say can help with your reduction in your risk of not only maybe you would maybe get dementia or get Alzheimer's, but it will slow down the progress of the
I
disease.
see someone says, they said, my mom has just been diagnosed with dementia. She said, my mom said, her sister, she had a stroke some 25 years ago. She said her son was her husband. Wow. And then somebody else asks, where can you get tested for dementia?
Yeah, I just wanted to, test. I'm sure my president's going to talk about where you can go get tested, because there are a lot of physicians presently in the Bahamas who can test you for dementia. However, one of the herbal remedies that literature is out there for is the coconut oil. Coconut oil seems to have been is being pushed as a natural medication for persons, not to eliminate it, but help retard the growth or the
So how should it be
onset of
taken? Do you know?
How often? Well, I don't know.
You're drinking it pure or the raw?
But you're taking like a spoonful a day or something
Okay.
like that. I think they're suggesting to take a spoonful a day or twice a day to try and see if you can retard it. And that's what I did with my mom. Gave her coconut, the organic coconut oil, so that I can try and see if I can help reduce the development of the disease.
Okay. People can go to get
Well,
tested.
you go to your physician. You have your normal. Every year, we advise people to go and have their annual checkup, your annual physical, and you tell your attending physician. You say, hey, I want to do a screening as well for Alzheimer's or for dementia. And if they are not able to do it, they should be able to refer you to someone who can do it. So make it as a normal part of going to get your physical, just as you get your physical, but you get your high blood pressure check, you get your cholesterol check, you can have your screening done for your brain activity, what is happening. And what it does too is that it gives you a benchmark so that you are able to see if any progress later on down. 5 years I came here, it was at this level. Now 6 years, 7 years down the road, I see maybe there's a decline or something is happening, and that can give an indication. Well, now I know what it is I need to do. Because of course, again, like we say, the more you know, the better you're able to prepare.
Absolutely.
And so that is what really is the most important thing for us to be aware, for us to be prepared so that we know how we are able to act. Because if you are able to now make sure you have certain things in place, then as you move on, as you go on. Prevention is
better than cure.
hello, that's all.
I do have some questions now. I want to, I know Deirdre already started talking about it, but of course, I hold, once again, this particular topic near and dear to me because I have family members. But I don't know if you were able to answer, is dementia genetic? Like, is it a bloodline thing that can be passed on, et cetera, or is this something that happens because of, as you stated before, the various ailments that we would have, high blood pressure, hypertension, et cetera, not taking care of our bodies?
Well, of course, like I said, we know some of the risk factors again, but we cannot say that while they may have family members, yes, we can see that, but then if that were the case, then it would be in every person within that family, hey? So that is why they're saying it's not necessarily a genetic, or that, because your parents have it, that necessarily mean that you are also going to present with it. They haven't been able to say that that is a certain connection for 100% certainty, okay? Because you don't have it in every person within a family. But we do know, of course, like I said, of some of those risk factors that may be present. Maybe it's because certain families have, a tendency to things. One of the other things that they found out too is persons who have head injuries because of the, injury to the brain, because again, that is what dementia is. And one of the things that with workshop that recently we had, I attended the Alzheimer's Disease International, which is what the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association is part of. And the thing they brought up was talking about head injuries. And also we're talking about domestic violence. Women who have been victims of domestic violence have also a higher instances of developing dementia because they've been hit in the head. So again, this is one of the things I'm talking about women. Hey, if you're in domestic violence situation, hey, watch out, because dementia might be in your future. Get out of those types of situations, okay? And then, of course, these are things that we are able to control: smoking, alcohol consumption, diabetes, hypertension, those types of things. But then we have also other things that we are not necessarily able to control, like air pollution, education, because those are some of the activities as well. Less education, those persons who have a lesser level of education, they are looking at things like vision loss, hearing impairment. And so this is why we're saying it is important for our government and our leaders to ensure that we put certain measures in place. Because while we individually can't control, say, air pollution, or education, the level of education that is available to our persons, our communities, we know that if things are put in place by our government and by our leaders, then they can help to reduce, again, some of these risk factors that are associated.
Now, I had a neighbor that came yesterday to me, and we spoke briefly about it. Now, I don't know if you were able to prove this, but I was told that even heat causes dementia. I don't know how true that is.
I don't know if that's one of the indicators. At least we haven't been able to see
that.
Where, but I don't know if that will maybe the people are uncomfortable because of because again, then so that means then if you're cold then you'll get dementia. I don't know.
And that's proven not to be so.
So I don't know. People in colder climates, they also have developed dementia. So I don't know if that is, that is something that can hold on. But and of course, persons who have been working in this area for many years. These are the things. And again, we also are part of the World Health Organization, and the World Health Organization has put together a what we call the National Dementia Plan, which is what we try to encourage governments to become a part of. In 2017, the Bahamas signed on to ensuring that, yes, we would develop a national dementia plan. Unfortunately, we have not, this is now nearly 10 years later, and we still don't have it yet. But we're working on it. The Bahamas Nation has been in contact, and we've had talks with our Ministry of Health, and Deirdre has been, and Deirdre has been a part of that group. And so we're hoping that we are able to ensure that we have, if not a fully standard, at least we have something that is maybe a part of another plan, a health plan, that we can ensure that we have something that will help us to, make sure we have something, because we need to have dementia as a national health priority. We need to have that as focus, because we know, again, we have a population that is increasing in aging, and so we know that the likelihood of more people presenting with dementia and Alzheimer's is going to increase. We know that already. I mean, statistics, they don't lie. The numbers don't lie. They have already been proven worldwide that we expect to have this increase in the population. We need to have the National Dementia Plan will ensure that we have the awareness so we can reduce the stigma, as we talked about before, that people are not saying that, hey, somebody fix my mommy or somebody fix my uncle, that type of thing. We know what the stigma is all about, and persons can be more aware. They know what it is that is happening.
I want to pivot a bit because of time. I want to we want to be able to hear from someone who has been in the trenches with this. Deirdre, you said you serve as the primary caregiver for your late mother, while also caring for your father and presently caring for your brother. Now, what has this personal journey taught you about caregiving that you would have never had to learn it from a book?
Listen here. This life experience, sometimes I take joy in knowing that I was able to take care of my mother for the time that she was on this earth. And it has also caused me to learn a whole lot. And oftentimes I find myself in situations where people, even with my brother who is early onset of dementia, people say, oh, he know better, this. And I'm like, listen here, he's not aware. This is a disease. This is not something where he could turn it off or turn it on. In the moment, he may remember you, but this is a disease that affects you. And when you would say, listen here, he knows better, this man don't know what he doing. Because he could cost you stink 1 minute. And then the next minute he's like, hey, what happened? Nothing happened. Like nothing happened. Jeez. So I've learned how to deal with situations like that. I've also learned that I'm in a better position to teach people, to let people know that, you don't take them on. Because my mother, when she had her caregivers, we had to change caregiver initially over and repeatedly, because when my mother started cussing you out, calling you this and that, people used to be offensive. And I kept saying, don't take her on, don't take her on. But they couldn't appreciate that you can't take her on. She called me this, she called me that. Don't take them on, because it is disease. All I could say is, don't think of dementia as a disease. They think as if persons know better, but they don't. And if I can encourage persons, if just that, persons diagnosed with dementia are not cognizant of what they're doing. Their cognitive abilities have been affected by the disease of dementia. And unfortunately, they may do things that you feel that that they're playing or they're acting out or whatever it is. It's not.
Wow. And so talk to me about even the process of seeing, your late mother, and, that process of I know it's a grieving process. Share with us your experience.
I'll go into the genesis of this. I have a brother who's a physician, and I noticed some stuff, and I told him that, listen, something's going on with mommy. I didn't know anything about Alzheimer's at that particular point in time. So he was like, okay, well, we get it checked out. We got it checked out, but it wasn't really, at that point in time, I don't think it was a thing. Dementia or Alzheimer's was a thing. So it so happens that I studied in Malta, and she came over. Supportive now, that was the most supportive mommy. Ain't nobody mother more supportive than my mother. Well, she was like, I have to come to your graduation. She knew I was in Malta. So she said, I have to come to your graduation, and I made it. When she arrived in Malta, my sister brought her over with me to see me. And she looked at me like she didn't know who I was. And then she said, call Francis, my brother. Call Francis, because I need to go home. I need to go back home. Listen here, I almost cried. You understand me? I'm not spending the night with you. I want to spend the night in my own house. And this after she's traveled over 24 hours. So I almost cried. So anyway, fast forward, when I got back home, I took her to the doctor and started the treatment and everything from then. And they diagnosed that she had dementia, Alzheimer's. And so my mother was, in my mind, she was still a person who could do things. She was living by herself when I was away. She was living with my brother Francis. And she would say, sit home and watch television, and she was quite normal when she was in her zone, when she was in a good zone. But then again, there came a time where I had to say, listen, I couldn't maintain my house and her house. So I said, listen, I need you to come to my house. She said, listen, I'm not going to your house. I'm not going to your house.
Listen, ain't coming out of the house to go nobody else.
There you go.
Go
No,
ahead.
she remembered that. That's my house and I ain't leaving. So anyway, I had to like trick her. I said, listen, I just got a divorce, man. I need you in my house to keep my company. I'm the only one inside in the house. So she's like, okay. So she tell everybody, I'm going to her house to protect her.
Oh, boy.
You see the motherly instinct
Yeah,
still came
that
out.
came in, yeah.
So she said, I'm going to protect my daughter. She's the only one in that house. I'm going with her to her house to protect her. And so she lived with me until her demise. There was a period where I was the only caregiver, and then my siblings, they started to help out. And so we would take turns having her for a month here and a month there. At first, a doctor from Sandlands had said to me that, you need a break. You need a break.
I want to talk about that.
Right? He said to me, you need a break. And he says, and I was like, but I'm the only one who could take care of my mommy. I'm the only one who could take care. He says, you think you're the only one who could take care of your mommy. And I guarantee if you allow your siblings to help take care of your mommy, you would be surprised at how well they take care of her. And listen here, his words were so true that they came on board and they started to take care of her. And her last years were rotating from home to home. And so everybody got to experience the proclivity of having Alzheimer's. And so I thought that was good.
Okay,
At the end of the day, I can't be the only one that I was my mommy's caregiver.
No, you can't say that. But I do want to, because you brought this up, I want to talk about that a little later, but because you brought it up just now, I want you to talk to someone, a caregiver who's presently dealing with their parents or, a loved one, whatever have you.
Okay.
And they are experiencing the guilt of just, wanting a break.
Yeah.
So how would you speak to this individual tuning in right now?
The first
feel
thing I would
guilty.
say is, listen, don't feel guilty about wanting a break.
Hello.
That had to get hammered into me because I was at that point where I felt as I would be cheating on my mommy if I wanted a break. How dare I ask for a break? But at the same time, I was, listen here, being the sole caregiver of my mother also almost caused me a relationship with my brother. And I will say to you, take that break before it causes you to break. Not just you physically or mentally, but your relationships.
Yeah.
Because relationships are affected because when you're in that situation, you are you believe that, like I said, I believe I was the only person who could take care of my mommy. No one else could. But even if you hire somebody, and we're trying to find ways of how we can encourage this. But even if you hire somebody to come in for a couple hours, and we have this caregivers ministry in my church where we are encouraging people who are caregivers. If you need a break, come to us. We'll sit down with your loved one for a couple hours so you can get an opportunity to go. And so that people don't buy into it. But it's something my priest, and even this morning he said, Archdeacon Bartlett, he said, listen here, he stressed caregivers ministry today, and he keeps saying the caregivers sometimes is the one who dies before their patient.
I tell you.
Because they don't take the opportunity to take a break.
You know, there's someone that says, that posted, they said, my Lord, that's me. I feel like I'm the only one who can care for her. And then she says, I will be worried. But listen, let me tell y'all something. Just like
if you drop down dead, ain't somebody else gonna do it?
Somebody
That's my
else.
point. You're gonna, the importance of trying to find caregivers to assist is vital. It's prominent, even if it's just family members. So let's get into that then. Let's get into what are some questions you think you would want to ask someone who you would have taking care of your loved one? Because you're not gonna have any and everybody in your
No,
house.
definitely not.
So what are
One of the things I'm going to say before I even answer that question, we're living in a society right now where everybody's, I need a tissue. This whole topic is causing me to even get teared up. But the fact that you have a loved one who has dementia,
go ahead.
the fact that you have a loved one who has dementia, you may be an only child, or you may not even be in the financial position to hire somebody. So, I didn't forget the question you asked me.
But I just
one
talk.
of those,
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
But okay, you may. Okay, I think I wanted to say we're in a peculiar situation.
Yeah.
We have, for the most part, everybody can't afford a caregiver.
Yeah, that is true.
So you may have to be that sole caregiver and have to by the grace of God, pray every time you leave home.
Yeah.
If you can't take your loved one with you, that you have to lock up the house, and you're hoping that they're protected. But if you can afford a caregiver, again, the dementia plan, where we're going to be looking into, we're going to ask the government to even subsidize certain things like that. National insurance benefit that you can get, because it needs
So for family members to
for family members to get some kind of
assistance.
assistance.
Yeah.
So yes, you're going to need to be able to have things like that in place, and you're going to have to be able to Lord again.
That's
But
okay.
anyway,
I want to know, like, what are some qualifications? So let's say you have
if you can
finances
afford, if you can
to have
afford,
someone in.
if you can afford to have a caregiver, that person, I would think, would have to have some kind of medical background, so that they would know when you're
Training.
Yeah, some medical training, so they'll know whether you're in distress for whatever. Your pressure's high, your sugar's high, whatever it is. I remember one time when my mom went to the doctor said, do you check her blood pressure on a regular basis? Because all these things are important. Are you making sure that she drinks drinks sufficient water, liquid? And especially now, I think every day you hear, make sure your elderly gets hydrated.
Yeah.
So yes. Right, the heat, right. But I think that's
it. That's
all
all
right. But so yes, you're gonna have to have your training, and you're gonna and oftentimes you're gonna, and this is another, you may need to bring in foreign assistance. Wow. And because of the right now we're not focusing on persons who. And see, the nurses may get vexed with me, right? But there is a nurses association that have people that can come to your house, but you're going to need almost like 24-hour care for your person who's affected by dementia. So you're going to have to say, listen here, this person is going to have some kind of medical training. And oftentimes, Bahamians have not been trained to do these kinds of things. Yeah. And so you may have to bring in a foreign element. And if you bring in the foreign element, you're going to have to pay the permit fees, and that's one of the things I'm advocating for in the dementia plan. If you find that you're going to need to bring in a foreign element to come and deal with your parent or your family member, the government shouldn't be charging you $2,000 for that. That's a necessity. That's not. That is a necessity. So where there's a necessity, the government is going to have to reconsider the permits that they are charging for these kinds of services. Now, I think you had also asked me at one point, what would I think a caregiver should exude?
Yeah. What are the qualifications?
And
some red flags.
Let me cuss them out. Or my brother cuss them out. Yeah. I want them to be compassionate and say, listen here, this woman don't know what she's doing. Yeah. So you're going to have to also be available. And when I say available, 24/7 kind of available. If she moved, you are aware that she moved. Empathetic. She's not aware, he or she's not aware of what they're going through. So you're going to have to be empathetic. And like I said earlier, don't take on what they say. Don't respond. And I will say to you, my brother who has early onset, oftentimes we're out and I'd say, oh, you don't have to do that, He says, what, you don't think I know I don't have to do that? And because he's agitated, I just draw back. So you have to know, like they said, the song says, know when to hold them, know when to walk away.
Walk away.
So you have to know when to walk away in certain circumstances. And I think that's a very key criteria for persons, especially if they're violent. If they're violent. You understand me? You have to have patience Very good. And be creative in keeping them active, because one of the things the doctors had said with my mother, keep her busy, because she would sleep all day if you allow her. And then in the night, she walking up and down. When you trying to sleep, she walking up and down. So you have to be creative through the day. And always alert, because over the years, we've had a lot of situations where persons with dementia have been found. Persons have said they're people they can't find their loved ones.
Right.
So we're gonna have to be alert to them, because I will say to you, my mother was she died at 89, but throughout her years with dementia, those legs, they were so quick. When I turned my head, she moved faster than me. So yeah, those are things that you're gonna have to look at. And I tell you, patience, like you said, patience. Plenty patience.
So let's talk about then, like, what, as far as monitoring these caregivers, because you don't want them to feel as if you are hoovering over them and you don't trust them. I say that because there's someone that posted, I tried bringing in a cousin. Mom said she was stealing. So when it comes to like monitoring the quality care without making the caregiver feel that they're being watched or distrusted in any way, how can someone monitor that or deal with that?
Well, for me, I didn't have such a problem, right? So I can't really say. The only thing is, Mom would say, "Oh, I put my stuff here," and somebody moved it, and we just once we communicated that, listen here, this the deal. But just make sure that you don't leave valuables around. The sensible thing is not to have valuables around. And even if you give your loved one, like my mom used to like to carry her bags around. So her purse, she always had to have a purse on her shoulder. So we used to make sure that she had $2 in her purse, just to make her feel like she got something in her bag. So you don't put things around that you think that you would suspect that, hey, listen, the caregiver has stolen the items or whatnot. Just be vigilant and careful yourself. Put in place a protective mechanism for you and the caregiver. Make sure you ain't gonna lose nothing.
No,
But I think too also that comes back to when you have somebody who is properly trained and properly educated. If they're going to be a caregiver, this is an employee person who's coming into your home. They have the proper training and they have the education. They know what it is, the techniques, the skills, how to deal with persons who have dementia and Alzheimer's. And so once you are able to ensure that we have the proper training in place, then you that will help to lessen your worry, because I know that I have somebody who is properly trained to deal with matters relating to my loved one. And again, this is why we think it, as Deirdre mentioned, it is so important that we have the National Dementia Plan, because the National Dementia Plan will address for that you have proper training of persons. And again, like you said, I love that point. If you have to bring somebody in from overseas, if you have to have an expatriate come in to take, because we don't have enough persons who are trained on, maybe that's something we need to look at in our school systems. Hey? This is on training, BTVI or training agencies. These are things that we need to train people in. And our Bahamian people, we need to encourage our young people. This may be an area that you want to go into.
Right.
So we don't have to bring in people from overseas. And you have to be able to pay them a wage that is,
commensurate with the
exactly with the work that they're doing. It's very important.
That comes with a lot of patience. That comes with proper care. That comes with even your own safety, because you do have some people with dementia who are very violent as well. So you have to know how to take care of yourself. That comes with just understanding, as you've stated before, Deirdre, that okay, this is a disease, so this person isn't intentionally trying to grab you. It's almost, because I also had a show with persons with family members with autism, and some of those similar attributes or characteristics that they have are, the grabbing and being violent, etc. So we know that although in cases like that you can train your child properly to do it, you may not be able to do that.
You can't.
Right. So it's being patient. And so, of course, you're not going to have any and everyone inside your home. As you said, you want to ensure that they are properly trained. We mentioned some red flags. If you you can't take the pressure that the same for you. What are some other red flags, Ms. Wendi, you think
With regards to
in regards to having to have a caregiver into your home? There's some things that you may notice that you'd be like, you know what, no.
well, one of the things I always compare it to, if you have a baby, you have certain boundaries, certain things that persons need to do, and it's almost the same type of thing as if you have somebody who is experiencing dementia and Alzheimer's. They have to be compassionate, they have to be empathetic, they have to be able to recognize what the symptoms are, signals are. And so when you see somebody who is, they're not able to handle pressure, they're not able to handle, well, maybe this might not be the job for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you need to be in another line of work. So those are the types of things that, again, once you have, if we have a certified or certification program, and we say that, yes, this person is certified, just as if you have a nurse or a doctor, and we say that, yes, you are certified and you've been able to say you can go out there and you can deal with people. Once you have that, we should be able to, to go ahead and ensure that we have proper care for our loved ones who are dealing with, with the disease.
And then I also recommend, I don't know if your organization does this, but even for families, maybe doing some one-on-ones or some training practices where families who are experiencing it can come to your organization and just get, whatever information necessary to keep them.
But we have the support group, and usually it's other persons who are part of the group who will give hints and tips. Well, like, oh, what did you do in certain situations? Or my mom is experiencing this, and then somebody else in the group say, well, this is what worked for me. Or, these are the types of things that we did. So that is the type of thing we have. It's more of a support group that we have. And then, of course, coming up now in September, we have our World Alzheimer's Month, and we will be having the Caregivers Workshop Seminar on the 5th of September, and that's going to be at Grace Community Church. And so we are inviting persons to, again, come out for that, to register. Keep looking out, keep watching out, and we're going to have information on that. And once persons are able to, one of the things we try to say is, too, once families are prepared and once what it is that they can do to support their loved ones, then that feeling of, shock and anxiety and how am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do? Once you are educated and once you're able to know, then of course you're able to balance that grief and, you have that sense of reassurance and you're able to now be more empowered as to how I can move on, what I can do. I feel not only for myself, but for the person who is living with dementia. We don't use the word suffering. We say they're living with dementia.
So, now that we're talking, because I don't mind sharing, we can talk about the organization, right? I have no problem with that, but I want to know, like, what are some of the things you said? You have a support group.
Right.
What if you do have family members that reach out and say, hey, I am experiencing burnout? How do you come in as far as your support group? Do you assist with helping them find caregivers to, as Wendi stated, her church has people that can come in. Deirdre, I'm sorry. So is there something that the organization does?
Again, like we're able to say, we can maybe refer you to places where, or other persons who are in the group, they're able to say, hey, this is where we found that this is something that works, or this is something that, we've found that, if persons need to take a bus, then, because again, like I said, we have about 100 and some persons who are in the group. Not everybody takes part in everything, but, as it is with everything else.
As in everything,
But, persons are able to say, well, hey, I could refer you to maybe doing this, or I can help you with something like that. And so that's how we help each other with those types of things. We're able to show how we can assist each other. Now, we don't have something where we say, well, we are going to refer a certain doctor to you, or we're referring you to a certain agency. That is not what our organization is about. We are not, we don't, take on that liability, or we don't take on that. We're just supporting and we're giving information from other members who are part of the group to say that, hey, these are some of the things that we found that works for us, and so we do it. But we ask persons, of course, to do their own due diligence,
Obviously, yeah.
and to make sure that they are able to, do what they need to do to ensure that their family member is safe.
Right, absolutely. And so, Deirdre, because I want to go back, we're gonna continue to talk about the organization, but I want you to share with those once again. I mean, because you're in it, from one point, and then you're in it again. And so
I was in it
the
the same
burnout, the stress, the anxiety, as Wendi stated, all these other factors that come into play because you love your mother, you love your dad, you love your whomever
Family
may be
member,
experiencing,
yeah.
and you want to ensure that they are safe. You want to ensure that they are sound, etc. But then you burn out. Okay, so for someone who don't even know or recognize that they're burnout, what are some signs?
Well, like I said earlier, you're argumentative. Some people say I'm born argumentative, right? But generally I'm argumentative. But I think there's a level of being argumentative. You pick on the smallest of things, okay? And you can just burst out at the least things, and then you find yourself very lethargic. I used to, all I wanted to do was just get home, because my caregiver was and the thing is, my caregiver was in the morning at one point until we decided she had to stay over. So my time started like after work. So I am dealing with my situation. So you have your fuse is very short. You're argumentative, you're irritable, you're not eating. I'm sort of, maybe because now I'm putting on all this weight, I wish I was.
Oh, Lord.
I had that eating issues, but you didn't eat because you didn't pay attention to yourself.
Yeah.
My health even deteriorated in the sense that my cholesterol levels were high, my stress level was high. My job is a stressful job, so I had stress at work and then stress at home.
Yeah.
So it just had me in a, like, I was tight. I was at the point to pop and didn't realize
Anxiety.
it until and anxiety until the doctor told me this, release yourself, release yourself from these things, and I did, and I'm happy I did.
We're
Because
happy you did.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
God that you're still
Yeah.
here. You know, that you can actually share, especially for
Yes.
those who are tuning in right now, because they need that. They need to know that somebody else, I'm not the only one going through it.
Right.
You know, somebody else
There are a lot of
has
people.
been in it or presently, going through it with a smile on their face. They can talk about it. They could share what it is that they do to keep them sane. So let me ask you then, what are some ways to relieve that stress?
Well, I like shopping, so I'm more so online shopping.
Yeah.
Where I'm by myself. I by yourself for a good many times. Well, this is when my mother used to walk. One of the ways I had to relieve myself, I used to make sure that the locks on the doors are locked,
Secured.
and she couldn't get out. When I first moved into my house, I had the lock where you could click. I had to change those to put in the key lock. So when I locked that door, I know, and I put the keys in my room, there's no way that she's gonna come out. So once that door was locked and she walking up and down, I'm fine because she ain't going nowhere.
Well,
You
but the
understand me?
stove and stuff like that. you
Oh,
have to
I
put-
had to turn those off. I had
Right, take
to
off.
turn the outside the knob. But I don't even think my mom would have gone. I've never had any incidents of her going
Trying
to the
to cook?
stove because she cooked all her life. So I think she may have been thinking, I ain't going to that stove anymore because she never
That's a typical woman right there.
she never ventured to the stove. You understand me? But to secure myself, that was one of the things I did. I turned off the gas from the outside, and I made sure the door was locked. So once those two things, and I didn't have carpets on the floor. I took up all my loose carpet because I didn't want. One of my greatest fear was her falling.
Yeah.
I won't say I didn't come and meet her on the ground once or twice, unfortunately, but that was one of my greatest fear, her falling. And thank God throughout her life, we only had one incident of her falling with the caregiver. And listen, the caregiver was so livid. I'm not livid. She was so, she says, T? And she took me into the room. When I look in the room, my mommy had this big gash. Of course, I wanted to like kill her open, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't fault her because she may have also been burnt out as the caregiver there all day and all night. So, well, thank God it wasn't anything drastic. But yeah, you just have
And
to
I think
make
one
sure
of the
secure
things
environment.
too, one of the things too, like you're talking about your incidences with your as being a carer and also dealing with persons who are caring, that you have to make sure, because the statistics show that 50% of those persons who are caring for someone, that their health has suffered, as you said. So you have to make sure that if you're a carer, that you make sure that you're taking care of your health.
Right.
And so you're experiencing your health in decline. And one of the things that we also have to point out is that women are more likely to be the ones who are providing the care. And when you have over 50% of your population, that is now either they have a carer or they themselves.
Has to be.
That's something, again, that I believe our government needs to be cognizant of and be aware of. You can't have 50% of your population taking on the burden and being responsible for the care of family members. You need to ensure that we have something in place. That is why, again, we keep pushing for the National Dementia Plan. We need to have something in place where we can take care of the persons who are caring for our family members.
Okay,
We have
so-
just talking to also that, and most of the time, they're not paid. They're informal caregivers, and they're not paid for what it is they're doing. They either maybe would have to even given up their own job
Right.
to ensure that their
Taken
family
care of.
member is taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
With limited time, I wanted to now surface and talk about what your organization is doing once again. Bahamas Alzheimer's, like I know you said you have some marvelous plans for September.
Yes,
So I
for
want us to
September.
share. I want you to talk about it. Let the people know the dates, because I know you started with that.
right.
Let's go.
We have on the 5th of September, we're going to have the caregiver seminar, and we're partnering again. This is going to be our 4th year, partnering with Ocean, and they come and they assist us with that. And I mean, they've done a fantastic job. Every year it has grown and it's gone. And so this year we'll be at Grace Community Church, and so we're looking to have persons come out, all caregivers. You can bring your family member who is also experiencing dementia, but we're going to be looking at things like wellness. We're going to be looking at how to do some financial planning, estate planning, what things a carer needs to be aware of. So we're going to have that. On the 19th, I'm going to let go over to Deirdre. We're going to be having the fun run walk. So she's in charge of that one. So she can talk about that.
Well, that's my baby.
Yes.
And last year we had the fun run walk, and it is under the patron of Dame
Janet
Boswell. Why am I having
Okay,
this
Yes,
mental
that's
block?
okay. That's okay. Okay.
And it's
It's
named
my
in honor.
baby, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still having this mental block. Anyway,
named
we're
in-
having this Alzheimer's Memory Fun Run Walk on the 19th of September, and it's going to be held in honor of the Right Honorable Janet G. Boswick and family. Now, last year, we persons never talk about Alzheimer's. So we decided, listen here, we're going to talk about Alzheimer's. And one woman who went out public and said her husband had Alzheimer's, that same out public and said, listen here, Henry J. Boswick had Alzheimer's. So I figured, okay, what better person to assist us with sharing the message. So our first walk in his honor was last year. So we are now again having the families consented to us having this memory walk again in his honor. So we're having the Right Honorable J. Henry Boswick Alzheimer's Memory Fund Walk on the 19th, starting at Montague Beach, going to
Going down
to
Shirley
Armstrong,
Street to
yeah,
Armstrong Street
and back
to East Bay and then back to Montague. 5K.
5K. So persons, please come out and join us on that event and make it a success so we can spread the word. The more persons participate, the more you become aware, because at that event we will have Dame Janet. She was there last year, and we'll have her again. And so people can see a lady who is passionate about Alzheimer's, and she speaks she and her children all speak about Alzheimer's. So that's my passion right there.
Listen, so
And we have a church service on the 20th, and then actually the World Alzheimer's Day, which is the 21st of September. Every year, we join persons from around the world who are observing World Alzheimer's Day of September. And the theme this year is the earlier you know, the more you can do, a diagnosis matters. And we have that theme because we want to ensure that persons have the early diagnosis. Because again, the more you know, the better you're able to deal with matters with your family. And so, to be prepared. So we want to ensure that persons get the diagnosis. That is the key, of course, to unlocking treatments that persons may need to have. Also to ensuring that you're able to better plan for your family, for the future. You can get your financial planning in place because, again, as we say, we know there's no cure for it. And so we know that this is a progressive disease. But if you can get if life and your finances and your estate, all of those types. And then also we're able to make sure that persons have the correct diagnosis of the medicines that they're able to take. All of these types of things are important, why we want persons to get a diagnosis. So the earlier you know, the more you can do, and a diagnosis matters.
I love that.
Okay.
And we have the candlelight vigil on the 21st as well, and that's going to be by the Queen's Staircase.
Okay.
And also we would like for persons in the corporate world to assist us by painting this country purple.
Yes.
We want
Light up.
every
That's the color?
That's our
Yeah,
color.
colors,
purple.
yeah.
We want
Light up.
every building to be lit up in lights all over the place.
On that day.
On
or
that
which
day.
Or
Well,
even
actually,
that
the
whole
whole-
month if you can
whole
do
month.
it.
Yes, the whole month if
to
you
bring
can do it.
awareness, because we want to bring that awareness about the disease.
Yes. But definitely on the 21st of September. And we'd like to also encourage officers, right? Well, definitely on the 21st, to encourage their staff to wear purple. But if they can wear purple every Friday in the month of September, that'll work very well for us, bringing awareness to this disease.
I love that. I have some doctors right now who saying that they're sharing this.
Very good.
So, Dr. Morgan, thank you for tuning in. So he's going to share this.
Is that Norad Morgan?
Norad Morgan, yeah. He's been on the
Okay.
show 2 or 3 times. Excellent. I love his personality. I love the fact that
So we got to bring him on board to come and assist
to come and
us.
assist, yeah, because he says he's going to share it, so that'll be wonderful. So, ladies, in closing, I have to ask this question. But first of all, before I ask this question, I want to know, is there anything else that may be any form of like misconceptions that people have about Alzheimer's or dementia before we end? Are there any other misconceptions? Because I know you shared some about some people thinking that it's voodoo and all that.
Yes.
Are there any other?
One of the things that persons need to be aware of, that persons with dementia and Alzheimer's, they still can be a vital, productive contributor to our Bahamian society. Because again, as we say, it's a progressive disease. And we know that persons are right now making contributions, working here in our country, and they have Alzheimer's and dementia. But it just has not been diagnosed.
Wow.
Okay, and they're out there working, they're doing things. But if you are able to get diagnosed, again, we want persons to go out there, make sure they get their screening. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that if persons have been diagnosed with dementia or with Alzheimer's, that they're not able to contribute, they're not able to do anything. These in places like in England they have, and in some places in Europe where they have dementia societies, where persons with dementia, they're running the society, they're doing things. A part of Alzheimer's Disease International, we have an arm of that, where we have people who have dementia who have been diagnosed, and they are able to make contributions, and they want to make sure that persons know, hey, I can make a contribution. I can say how I can assist with my care, with my treatment. I know what is best for me. I know what I can do, because they haven't reached that stage where they are not able to function. You're still able to function to a certain extent when you have in that early stage, and that is why it's important to get the diagnosis. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, and that's why people are afraid.
Yeah.
And they have that stigma, once they have dementia,
it.
they can't do nothing. They can be crazy and they can be around the place. No. Persons with dementia and Alzheimer, or who have been early diagnosed, they're still able to make contributions. And so, that is why it is more important. It's so important for you to get your early diagnosis. And of course, we have our phone number. I'm going to put that in there.
Yes,
we have
please.
our
How
phone
can they
number,
contact you?
535-4260. The WhatsApp number. You can send a WhatsApp note if you wish. And then we have our email, BahamasALZ242@gmail.com. BahamasALZ242@gmail.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say, my president hit the nail right on the head, because even my brother, who is early onset of dementia, I thank God for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, because for the most part, I think they're aware that he has dementia, and they have him still working, and he goes to work every day. And he comes home every day, and he's still contributing, even though he has early onset of dementia. So we know that it's possible for persons to still contribute with the disease. Now we just need to make sure that persons are allowing persons to contribute while they have dementia, because we don't want them to throw them on the side because, you've been diagnosed. It's a way of, as long as they can contribute, allow them to contribute.
Exactly.
So just want to put that plug in. But again, too, in order for our month of events to be a success, we're going to need corporate citizens like yourself. And I just want to thank you for bringing this year about Alzheimer's and dementia. And we need the corporate world out there to also partner with us to make sure that we bring awareness. We don't want to be after the fact, because that situation, in Freeport, couple of years last year thing, right? When during that situation, everybody's in uproar. The radio shows were blasting and talking about it, and then after it went silent. You don't hear anything about it, but the reality is it still exists, and we need to protect persons who have been diagnosed with dementia, who's experiencing the disease.
Someone is asking before we leave, are there any shirts for sale?
Yes, we will have some T-shirts available. Again, you could give us a call and we'll be able to get that information to you. They don't have them yet, but for September, definitely we will have them. By September, we should have everything available.
Poster says, thanks so much. You were very informative. So
Thank
here's my
you.
last question, what I said, because we literally have 5 minutes left, right? So for those who have a daughter, son, whatever family member, loved one, etc., remember, who has just become a caregiver, and say a family member who's just now a caregiver. So if you were tuning in, they're going to say something to you to encourage you, and the sentence is, I know this is hard, but. So I'm going to ask Ms. Wendi to finish that sentence, and then you're going to say that. So for those who are tuning in, the sentence to encourage you today is, I know this is hard, but.
You're going to make it. Not only for the person who may have just recently been diagnosed, but also for their family members. Yes, it's going to be hard, but you're going to make it, because you're going to get educated on the disease. You're going to be able to advocate for yourself and for your family member who has now been diagnosed with disease, you're going to find out about what type of medications, those things that are available. You're going to get your finances in order. You're going to get your estate in order and your plans, and you're going to put your plans together so that later on down, when the disease has gotten to the point where persons are not able to function, that, hey, I know I have this together, and I'm going to be able to go out there and help others who are in the same situation that I am. And all is not all, but I'm going to make it. You're going to be okay.
I love that. I know this is hard, but
You can do it. You can do it.
Yes.
You can do it. You can do it. You can take your breaks. You can take care of your loved ones, and you can take your breaks, and you can live a healthy life taking care of your loved ones, doing things that make them feel special while you survive.
I love that so much. I want to thank you so much, ladies, for being a part of your Lady
Thank
Talk
you.
Show.
Thank you for having us. Thank
Y'all
you
been
so much.
Good.
Yeah.
And to want to thank God for even allowing us to go through these experiences, because the Bible says all things will work together for the good of
For those who love the Lord. Yes,
All according to His
amen.
purpose. So even if we have been through, and I say we, because I had loved ones too, whatever have you, been through the situation, we're able to come out of it and help somebody else. So we're extending that hand for someone else who are
And don't
presently
hide
going through
it.
it.
Do not hide it. You know, because people, like you said, the stigma that is associated with the disease, don't hide it. Because, if you hide it away, you're not going to be able, what they said, a closed hand, you don't get nothing.
No.
So if you open out and you let people know, okay, this is what is happening with my family, you'll be surprised to know who is out there, who is going to be able to assist you and be able to help you along the way. So, just make sure persons know, don't fail. Don't
And
have
what I
that
like
fail.
about this association, organization, is that you have community.
Yes.
So even if you
Yes.
feel as if you may be the only one going through it, but you're not, you have that community and support from the Bahamas Alzheimer's Association that can say, hey, we've been there, this is what we did, this is how we overcame, et cetera, et cetera. So that community is here. All right, help is here. Once again, the text number is 535-4260. That's 535-4260. Text them. I'm sure they'll assist you if you are going through this very experience, as someone stated in here, that they just found out that their mom has been diagnosed. And so here it is. This is support. There's community. There's help. You're not in this alone, and everything is going to be all right. So thank you so much for tuning in to Your Lane Talk Show with your coach. Episode 180, The Caregiver's Heart, Loving Someone Through Alzheimer's and Dementia. And it was brought to you by John Shoe Store and Accessories, Tropical Gyros, Your Lane Life Coaching, the Children's Dream Journal, Lysol, Del Monte, and Airwick, all distributed by Thompson Trading. We're also been brought to you by Commonwealth Bank and 242 Media Connect. Okay, so thank you so much to my producer Chris for holding it down, getting us our napkins, getting us our water, making sure we straight. Thank you to Your Lane listeners and new listeners. Thank you so much. We pray that you were all encouraged, empowered, educated today. All right. Of course, we're on every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Guardian 96.9 FM. So tune in. And then, of course, you can go to Your Lane Live Coaching on Facebook or Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna on YouTube to like and subscribe so that you can start to come. In fact, next week, we're going to be talking about vaginal health. Okay, the misconceptions, the products to use, the proper care, etc. So we're going to have a gynecologist on board to talk about that. So for men, yes, you can listen in too, because
you need to know.
you need to know. Okay, you can't. I would say some things, but we gotta go. All right, so it's 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Know where it is.
Know where it is and what to do and what not to do.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so everyone will want to tune in next week for that. All right, so thank you and have a blessed Sunday, everyone.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.